So welcome to my review for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Yes, the game is actually coming out. I played the full game, and I'm gonna say, this is a review, but there's no spoilers. And I'm only gonna show footage from the first chapter, and that's it. And there's a lot of spoilers, even in the first chapter, that I'm not gonna reveal. I'm just gonna show a couple of small boss battles, some running around, some combat. That's about it. I'll ask you guys, are you looking forward to Final Fantasy VII Rebirth? Let me know down below. And yes, I gotta say, I've really been looking forward to this game, especially for a lot of you out there who played the original Final Fantasy VII on the PS1 27 years ago, and then we got a full remake of the game, or mostly of the game, with Final Fantasy VII Remake that came out in 2020, which is already 4 years ago. And then we got the amazing Intergrade, and now we continue the adventure into the world of Final Fantasy VII. We get to see a lot more of that world, and I'm going to talk all about that.
Shall we pick up the pace?
So can you play Final Fantasy VII Rebirth on its own as a standalone game, or do you need to play all the other Final Fantasy VIIs? The answer is, you could play it on its own. It's its own standalone game. But man, it really helps if you play the original Final Fantasy VII Remake, or even the original game, just to see how they've expanded the world.
Home sweet home, right?
It's almost an alternate timeline to Final Fantasy VII. For purists out there, you always have the original game, but what I love about this game and the last game is that it's expanding upon the original game. And so what we're doing is, we're revisiting entire locations, entire events that happened in past games, but we're expanding on it and adding a lot more depth. In fact, there were some character moments in the game that I could not get over, that I felt more emotion for than I did even for Final Fantasy VII. Like, when we played the original game, back 27 years ago, we all had a lot of emotion about all those characters like Cloud and Sephiroth and all that. I'm telling you, what they do with the character moments in this game, expand it to another level. I got to know these characters in a completely different way than I already knew them.
Perhaps you'd like to say a few words to your sword first?
It's like a completely different way to look at the game, and you get so much out of it, and so many different story elements, and so many things are expanded on, that it's really an experience that every Final Fantasy VII fan should play.
I think I got this.
So how are the graphics? Well, you're probably watching them right now, and I gotta say, they're beautiful. Yes, I played in performance mode. There is graphics mode, so you could pump up the graphics to look better, but I just liked a better frame rate for running around. That really suited me. I seem to be going for performance more these days, and it really suited me well running around, but I gotta say, the environments are beautiful. It's really amazing just to explore outside of Midgar and see other locations, and just to see some Mako reactors again and to go through those. Oh my god, it was just beautiful. And some of the reflections and some of the textures in this game are a sight to behold. And just the animated cutscenes as well are unbelievable. They're top tier in the gaming world right now.
He was in a different league from the rest of us.
I mean, I thought they were amazing in Final Fantasy VII Remake. They're twice as amazing here. I loved watching everything and just seeing the world, as I say, get expanded.
You said you wanted to be a hero.
Yes, the action combat is back. And I gotta say, I know a lot of us out there are like, oh, it's semi-turn-based, it's not turn-based. I really enjoy the action combat. I always feel I can go back to the original Final Fantasy VII and get that old turn-based the way it was, but I like the action combat in this. I feel it's really kinetic, it's really fun. I love doing combo attacks with my characters.
Yes. You're done.
And it's fun to fight the big bosses and have all your characters coming in there attacking. It feels really great and so fast. I love the action. I love jumping up, casting a spell, doing a combo attack. It feels really right. The story, for the most part, is pretty much like Final Fantasy VII, but as I said, they veer off here and there and give you more. Like, you go into towns and things, and you see it from almost a different angle, and you're interacting with more characters, and it just feels more fleshed out, and the world really comes alive.
Sephiroth's in there right now. Would kill for a shot of him, but I should probably wait till later, huh?
The game is around 40 hours, but there's a lot more to do, a lot more to collect, so you can extend that in the game. Sometimes it just feels that you're always playing the game till you get to the next interactive movie, and I don't think that's a bad thing. I love the gameplay that leads up to that, and I think the movies are incredible.
I've been working on some new techniques.
And I'm not going to talk too much about the story, because it's spoilers. I know it's a game from 27 years ago, but it's still very relevant now with the spoilers if you've never played it. And I recommend it to anybody who's played any of the Final Fantasy games, and you're like, I haven't played Final Fantasy VII. Oh my god, you need to play this game and play them both together. It'd be great to play Final Fantasy VII Remake, integrate, and then straight into this. You're gonna have a really great time.
Off you go.
Now, the thing I really want to talk about is the music. Yes, there's new compositions all over the place throughout this game, but there's little moments when I was sitting there that I'd be caught a little bit off guard by some of the music. I was like, oh my gosh, you know, this is music from 27 years ago. They've recomposed it, but it sounds exactly like it did all those years ago, and the nostalgic feels were there.
Take it from here.
And that's what I want to say about the game, is the nostalgic feels are there, that yes, this is a brand new remake of an original game, but there's so much heart from the original game there, and they honored the original game so much that for purists, you're really going to enjoy this experience.
Nostalgic, I guess?
And I'm not even going to show all the other things that you can do in this game, because to me, they're spoilers. I feel they're spoilers. Running around in chocobos and things like that. I don't want to show any of that stuff. Never mind the later game stuff. But I want to say, as an overall standalone experience of a game on its own, it's really fulfilling.
Best they had.
I've been waiting 4 years to continue the adventure, and the adventure continues, and it doesn't let you down.
That's that.
And now I just want to say a personal story about why this game means so much to me and why it still does now. And it's a little painful for me, but I'm just going to try to absolutely get through it. 27 years ago when the original game came out, just before that, a few months before that, my father passed away from cancer. And it was so tragic and it happened so fast. And the game came out a couple months later, and playing it was bittersweet. That it was still in that terrible time when my father had passed away, and the music, as I was saying earlier, haunted me. And it's strange, Final Fantasy VII always reminds me of that time, and the game is skewered in a strange way that I think very fondly of it, but it also reminds me of that terrible time. And this is the emotional bit that's really going to kill me, and I'm just going to try to say it. And I'm just going to say it and get through it, is that, unfortunately, how strange it is that Final Fantasy VII Rebirth has just come out, and I've been playing it because I found out just before my 50th birthday that my mom has terminal cancer, and she has maybe another month or so left. I was just up visiting her. And it's so strange that Final Fantasy, hear me out, I'm not going to get choked up, I'm going to keep it together. Final Fantasy VII has been around my whole life, and from my father's death to my father getting cancer, to my mom getting cancer and dealing with that. And the reason why I bring it up is that the game is about life and death. It's about the Mako reactors and sucking the planet dry of all its natural energy and all of that. Even Sakaguchi was talking about the game when he was working on Final Fantasy VII. His mother passed away, and all of that energy and all of that stuff he was dealing with, he poured into the game in a lot of themes. And so that's why the game talks to me in a way that's just beyond just an RPG. This game is like part of my life and part of my family and part of my memories and part of everything that I am. Isn't that strange? A video game? And that's why I want to include that in the review, that this game really means a lot to me. And I'm going to think back to this game in time as well, of the tragedy in my life at times, and how a video game can kind of make you forget about what's going on at times and kind of give you a bit of escapism. And you can also look back on it with some fond memories and some sad memories. And That's the power of video games, and that's the power of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. And that's what it is for me. Even saying the word rebirth is like a rebirth of myself moving forward into the future. And I just love the themes of this game. I love the combat. I love the music. I love the graphics. Yes, it's a pouring review because I love it so much. And I like Final Fantasy VII. So yes, it's going to be a positive review. I've really had a great time playing it and a very hard time playing it. I just wanted to come in and talk about some of the themes and all that meant something to me. That's what I wanted to do with this review, and it's very hard for me to do, but I was able to do it. So I feel very, very thankful for that. So I'll ask you guys, are you looking forward to Final Fantasy VII Rebirth? It's really blown me away. It's been a very powerful game in my life, and I've really had an experience playing it. That is for sure. So anyways, guys, until next time.